Hey, Joe, it's our big Christmas show.
Woohoo!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another jam-packed edition of the end of the night. This is our big Christmas show, the big poobah of shows. I am tonight in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I'm at that's why you have the Hershey colored walls behind me. You know, oddly enough, the Hershey, Pennsylvania, the resorts are on a place called the Hershey Highway. Think about that for a minute. If you're a honeymooning couple. This is our big Christmas extravaganza. I'm your host, David Lee Madison, and this gentleman, I'm not in my regular space, so I don't know which. This gentleman right here is my lovely dear friend, full producer, and co-host, Mr. Joe Ridgely. How are you doing tonight, Joe?
I am excellent. Glad to be back for this holiday special that we've done annually. Is this the third or fourth year now?
I think it's the 57th year, oddly enough. I'm not sure.
Year.
It's our 57th program.
You need to get Amanda back because your static came back.
My static came back.
Your static came back.
I don't know what to do.
Is it still on the correct setting?
Take over for a minute, and I will
take over for a minute. Wow, no pressure here whatsoever. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of David Lee Madison's The End of the Night, presented by the Indie Escape Network. If you haven't already, please go to our social medias. We got the Facebook, the TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And I guess I'm going to mute his mic. No, I guess I can't. That would kind of defeat the purpose. And you know what we like to do for fun? We like putting other members on the spot. What's happening, CJ?
What's up? What's going on?
So you had a back to the iPad. Major video that just dropped, didn't you?
Working though.
I did.
So tell us a little bit about that real quick.
Am I back?
Say something.
Okay.
The rain in Spain falls mainly on the... No, still bad? This is my daughter, everybody. My beautiful, wonderful daughter.
So yeah, I on Halloween weekend this past year at Big Texas Comic-Con in San Antonio, I got to do an interview on mental health with Jason David Frank, who sadly passed away recently due to what some would suspect mental health. It's on my YouTube channel, so if anybody wants to go out and check it out.
You're also behind the stage, so
I like it. What do you call it? I like that people have been reaching out to me, Joe, and telling me thank you for sharing it. And it's been helping out. Daniela actually told me she used it for a safety course in one of her classes.
Nice.
So, yeah. So it's like as I go watch it, it was actually a little bit harder for me to like finish it up because I was a huge fan and editing and hearing his voice and seeing him. And going back and looking at all the stuff he left, I didn't realize how much content he created for all of us. He was on it all the time, and it's like, wow, man, this guy was a beautiful person, and now he's gone. So, but his legacy will live on, and there's a huge like fan base that he has, a community still together and hanging out. I'm in some of the groups, and I see all the support, and it's good. But it's out there. It's called my Jason David Frank interview at Big Texas Comic-Con. Just look it up on YouTube, or you can look it up on Facebook, and the link's there.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you with static now.
You can hear me with static now. Gosh, that sucks. You know what's funny? When we did our AV check, I sounded fine.
Yeah, you're perfect. But
yes.
Yeah, Joe, the convention community, I feel is going to be.
We're trying everything.
Just coming up here, everybody's back.
Sweet, sweet. I am actually being bad and checking other messages from other places. I still
So,
have time.
everybody, how are we doing? Welcome, Merry Christmas to everyone as watching.
Yes, Merry
And,
Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff. And let's see what they did.
And now they're
Oh, they
cutting out like I
broke
have a
it
bad
for.
feed.
he broke the fourth wall.
This sucks.
Maybe we'll leave them alone for a minute. We got an
Joe,
exciting show tonight, though. I mean, there's going to be a few of our celebrity friends popping in and out saying happy holidays and such. I believe John O'Hurley is going to be here, Camden Toy. And give me 1 second.
He's got the
All
team
right.
on it. Oh,
Let me get a message out to Dave. Give me 1 moment.
yeah. So I saw a movie yesterday from 1973, which is kind of relevant kind of now.
Oh, yeah?
It's kind of, it's called Soylent Green with Charleston Heston. The movie's based in 2022.
What?
Yeah. It was made in 1973 and it's based in 2022. Jason Butera. Hey, what's up, kid? Jason posted like a timeline thing. Hey, Daniela. And it said like in movie timeline, we're in Soylent Green. And I wanted to watch it in 2022.
Can you guys hear me
Dave.
now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Yes. We're good?
We're good.
Bluetooth is working.
Bluetooth
Well,
is
thank you.
working.
Thank you so much to my staff. You can get the hell out of my room now.
Yeah, and thanks to my staff, you can get the hell out of my room. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, CJ. Thank you, CJ. We'll
Staff.
see you in a bit.
All right, I see you in a minute.
I want to apologize to everybody. I've never done the show other than from my beautiful home. And I'm in Hershey Resort here in beautiful
Yeah, we're
Hershey.
still having a little bit of an issue, but we got to go with it, man.
Okay, how bad is it? Is it terrible?
Not as bad as it was.
Okay. So, do we have anybody in the green room?
We do. We have 2 guests in the green room. One you already knew about. One I just messaged you.
Okay. How about, because I'm not sure exactly how much time this gentleman has to share with us tonight. But without further ado, on our amazing Christmas show, our first guest is known for so many roles. One of them from the biggest TV show of all time. It's Jay Peterman on Seinfeld. He does the dog show every year on Thanksgiving that we watch right after the Thanksgiving Day parade. He's been on so many programs and just a dear friend of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John O'Hurley.
And you forgot he is the Jeopardy host we all deserve.
The fact that John O'Hurley is not the host of Jeopardy is probably one of the biggest crimes on humanity, because it is literally a show that was made for John. He would be the perfect successor.
Alex, and the odd thing was that Alex always said, he says, when I leave, this is your show. Well,
Really?
Yeah. So anyway, but that's all right.
Hi, John.
It is what it is.
Merry Christmas, my friend.
How are you?
I'm very, very well. Are you excited about the Christmas and the holiday season?
Oh, I am. It's actually my favorite time of year because my son's, our life revolves around our 16-year-old son, and it's so for the last 16 years we've had a purpose in life for the holidays, and it's been just wonderful to watch rediscover the world through his eyes, and this has been one of the most incredible years in his personal growth. And so if I have to drop to my knees to say thanks, it's all for that. He has discovered his passion in life, which is aviation.
Oh, wow.
And I believe it or not, I did this morning, as I do every weekend. I dropped my son off at an airport just up the road, and he's not old enough to drive a car, but apparently he's old enough to go up 7,500 feet in a little aluminum tube and travel 175 miles an hour. So if you can understand the irony of that, he's been doing this for the past year. It has changed his life. He was a B minus student last year at this time. Right now, his GPA is, I think, 4.4. He has
Oh,
just
congratulations.
he is just self-disciplining, and it's been this year's been a godsend to just watch him just take control of his life and develop the same passion that I had, but mine was for acting. But I had it from the age of 3. He's discovering at 16, but it is absolutely immutable in his life. This is where he's going, and so long story short, phenomenal year for us.
Oh, congratulations. That's absolutely awesome. Are you going to spend the holiday season on the East Coast or the West Coast?
Well, we have a home in Vermont, and I think
Mhm.
you know about that. Yes,
Yes.
but during the winter months, we spend the time here on the East Coast, or excuse me, on the West Coast.
Mhm.
We do because of the dog show. I spend every one of the last 21 years in New York, so we like to kind of mix it up a little bit, and we do that for Thanksgiving and for the holidays around Christmas. We like to come back here.
I tell you, I just for my anniversary, which was mid-November, I got to spend a couple of days in Vermont at a beautiful, beautiful bed and breakfast. And John, I
Where?
tell you, it's one of
Tell me where.
uh,
Tell me where.
I don't remember exactly. I'm terrible. It was on. It was almost if you drew a straight line across from Saratoga to Vermont.
Okay.
Is where we were, and it was. We used to stay at a place called the Marble Mansion, which you probably know about, which
I
is
do.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, but sadly, it's not as nice as it used to be. But we found a new
Yeah.
place. It's absolutely fantastic. And my wife took me to look at covered bridges because I have a weird passion for covered bridges,
Oh,
and we have some of the most beautiful ones here in Pennsylvania, where I live.
and we
But
have
I,
a bunch
I
of bunch of them right there in the town that where I have the property there.
mhm.
We have half a dozen of them. They're really lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, they're absolutely
There's
gorgeous.
something about a covered bridge. It's just so idyllic and so
Yeah, and
iconic,
it's
really. Yeah.
and it's funny because like if you told me when I was a kid, when I was a big baseball and basketball star, that when I was in my 50s, I would like depression glass and covered bridges, I would have thought you were crazy. But it's funny how we change as
It
time
is.
goes by.
At some point, the water all comes out of the balloon. Yeah.
Ain't that the truth? John, have you ever had the opportunity to come out to Hershey, Pennsylvania?
Well, I did. In fact, I was the spokesman for many, many years, about 20 years. I was the spokesman for Hershey, for
Oh,
the
really?
chocolate factory. Right after Seinfeld
Mm-hmm.
ended, they took Peterman and
Mm-hmm.
turned him into the spokesman for the Hershey chocolate factory. So I was there over every square inch of that place. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing my voice. I'm surprised
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah,
You were the voice that the right
everything,
the Hershey.
everything.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So then did you ever get to see they do something here called Noel, which is where if you've been to Hershey Park, they have like a stream that runs through it,
Mhm.
and every tree around that stream and the cable cars that go over the stream, every inch of the place is covered with like a million Christmas lights, and then they
Oh, I
sing
know.
Christmas music.
It's
It's
spectacular.
unbelievable. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful.
I have done some Christmas work with them there, and then I also go down to Disney to do the Christmas processional down there, which is the reading of the Christmas story there from the Bible with the 120-piece choir and a 65-piece orchestra. It's really pretty overwhelming.
No, I mean it
Yeah.
is absolutely gorgeous. And I didn't get a chance to thank you because last year we did a reading of "Twas the Night Before Christmas," and you were
Uh,
very, very kind and participated in that and made it awesome. So thank you, John. It was awesome.
no, my pleasure.
Uh, I was watching TV about I don't know maybe in October, and I saw you on one of these big cop shows. You were kicking some dude's ass in the beginning. I was shocked. I was very proud of you.
NCISLA. Yeah, yeah, yeah. How about that? That wasn't that fun?
How did that
Yeah.
come together? Because it was such a not you kind of role. It was cool.
Well, they just called and said we have
Mm.
this. Well, I mean, he was a little bit of uh, he was an adventurer. He was a man
Mm.
who believed in still. He was the rear admiral who still believed in buried treasure, and sure enough found it. But I mean, he was just a single, kind of that poet on the cliff type of thing. So it kind of, I think, they kind of, I think probably brought up the nature of, or the idea of Peterman there. And,
Mhm.
but it was I had a wonderful time. It really was a great, great week. And I had a great time. Chris O'Donnell's a dear friend of mine. And their family and our family are very close. So it was fun to spend some time together and create mayhem.
That was cool. I mean, in the very first scene, some guys are coming like to kidnap you or something. You plot
I had
that
to,
dude. It's like, yeah, John.
I had to try to take two of them out, but unfortunately, I got kidnapped in the end.
These things happen, especially on CSI. So, do you have anything else cooking that we should know about? That's any big news?
Yeah,
that
I
you
have
dropped
a, I
around
have
the
a,
show?
I have a really exciting year ahead. I
Mhm.
just sold a couple of shows. I have a new show coming out called Through the Grapevine, which is going to be kind of they're kind of handing over Anthony Bourdain's show to me,
Oh,
and it will
wow.
be yeah, and but it's got a new name and what I believe is going to be a new thrust too. They really want me to just make it my own stamp on it, and it will be traveling domestically. It will be about wine. It will be about food. It'll be about ambiance, where to stay and how to stay, and the history of where you stay and the history of what you consume. And every place that I go to, I'll arrive in a different form of transportation that will be somehow endemic to the show, whether it's a hot air balloon, horseback, a sidecar on a motorcycle or a private rail car, but everything is going to be the arrival there is going to be just as important as the show itself. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Then I have I'm taking the for the first time ever. We've had such success with the National Dog Show on Thanksgiving Day. We get an audience of 32 million. I think we had 32 million people this year watching. And it's now globally too, because it just goes. They don't stop it at the borders. It's going everywhere now. And but I all the shows like Westminster and the AKC show and the National Dog Show, they all stop at a brick wall. Once you win that show, that's it. There's no World Series, if you will. And so I just sold the World Series of dog shows, and it's
Oh,
going to happen.
congratulations.
And it's going to happen on New Year's Eve, not this New Year's Eve, but next
Mhm.
New Year's Eve. And it will be called the $1 Million Dog. Well named because the purse will be $1 million for the top dog. We'll take the top 12 dogs in the country, uh, judge them two by two, or one against the other until we come down to a final working group of three dogs, and then we'll judge for best in show. And that
That's
dog will be, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And you know why I really like it? It'll give us something else to watch instead of Times Square on New Year's Eve. I'm so sick of it.
What's funny? I mean, I used to adore that when it was Dick Clark's show.
Yeah, I
And
know.
yeah, it was kind of had like it because
And
it was.
I've hosted it before. Regis and I hosted it one year together. But I got to
Oh,
tell you,
sweet.
I'm so sick of tuning that in and just listening to profanity, and they're having to bleep out every other word. And the bands there are not everybody's taste in music. I'm sick of it. I really am, and I want to offer America something different to watch on New Year's Eve. So this will be live, and it will be because we have such success with the dog show, and people seem to love to watch dogs. And that this is going to be a new alternative form of entertainment on New Year's Eve and it will be live, right? So we'll be crowning the top dog, the $1 Million Dog, on New Year's Eve.
What's the
Five,
greatest
the
thing about that show?
5 4 3 2 1. Yeah,
You could literally call the winner the top dog, which is kind of cool. Because he's the top dog.
that's right. Exactly. I
Is
think they
is
would.
there anything else
Although
going on?
although I think they'd rather be referred to as the $1 Million Dog. I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. What else? What else do I have? Well, I have. I will be starting very soon the official Seinfeld podcast. I'll be
Oh,
hosting that. Yep, and it's going to be called the Peterman Chronicles, and I'll be starting that sometime this winter. Um, couple of movies coming up, and then I have my energy company on the side that I do, which is pretty dramatic and pretty culture changing. So
John, you really need to get off your ass and start doing it.
I know.
This is probably going to blow your mind, but I bet you didn't know this. I went to Queens College with Jerry Seinfeld. Isn't that kind of
Did you?
horrifying?
No
Yes.
kidding.
Yes.
Ah.
He got all the money, I got all the looks. So I think it's very great. Absolutely.
And I'm sure you had the opportunity to share a bowl of cereal with him at one point.
No, I never met them, man. Never met them.
No.
We went to the same college. We went to the same with John Favreau. Queens College is known for Jerry Seinfeld and John Favreau, and about 2,000 steps down, you get to me. John, the way the Christmas show works is that we bring everybody on for a little bit, and then everybody can, you could choose to stay on, or if you have somewhere to be, we kind of all just kind of stay together for the hour. So would you like to stay on, or would you like to say goodnight?
I'm going to have to run because I have. We just ordered Chinese food and it arrived about 15 minutes ago. So I'll have to.
What does John O'Hurley? When John O'Hurley orders Chinese, what does he order?
Mushu, my friend. Mushu. Repeat after me. Mushu.
Have you ever had chicken and pineapples and oyster sauce?
No, that sounds interesting though.
Chicken and pineapples and oyster sauce are absolutely killer. I won't keep you from your Chinese very long. Thank you so much.
Great
John.
to spend time with you.
You're always a wonderful guy. Every time I ask you to come on, you're just a great guy.
My pleasure.
You don't have to spend time with morons like us, but you're a class act. Thank you, Mr. O'Hurley. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, my friend.
Good night, John.
Good night.
Wow, it's amazing when anytime he stops on this show. I mean, it's fucking John O'Hurley. He's literally like a living legend. What the hell is he come on here and talk to schmucks like us for? It boggles my mind. Has my sound gotten any better, or is it still shooting?
It's a little better. It's intermittent at times with the static, but let's see. Susie is saying hello. And
hello. Hi, Susie. Merry Christmas.
Ken saying, if my dog was younger, I would put him in.
There you go.
And unfortunately, we didn't get to this for Daniela. So as an electrical engineer, I have to ask about the energy company. That will be next time.
Yes. John is very sweet in that he comes on frequently, and he's a great guy. I think that was like his third or fourth time on the show already. We already had an episode where we devoted the whole show to him, and I think he's done my birthday and my Christmas in the past. And we were going to get together in Vermont recently, but he's just a great guy. He's a great guy. Who do we have in the green room, Mr. Ridgely?
I sent you a message. What?
Okay. Did you on Farsi book?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Without further ado, our next guest is just an outstanding actor. You might know Buffy the Vampire Slayer or a slew of other shows. Another dear friend of the show. Another great actor, just a great all-around guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Camden Toy.
Hey.
Camden!
Yay.
Hello! Merry Christmas, my friend!
Merry Christmas. I should be wearing my Santa hat.
I like it. You know, it's scary. Now that you say it, you got that whole Santa thing going on.
Yeah, we've been rewatching some episodes of Grimm, and there's an episode where they have a murderous Santa Claus with horns on that.
Oh, sweet! That sounds like it. That sounds.
It's fun.
So, are you a big Christmas guy, Camden, or are you just or not really?
I do like Christmas. Christmas was always a big thing with my family. My father was an artist, and he did an amazing job with decorating the Christmas tree. Well, we all helped him, but I mean, he really kind of designed it, and it was amazing. So, but we spent a lot of time, and we slowly started after a while, they started allowing us to open gifts on Christmas Eve, as opposed to waiting till Christmas morning.
Well,
yeah, which was.
It's funny because
fun.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, it was funny because in my household, we would give the presents from each other on Christmas Eve, and then of course we'd all go to bed, and Santa would come on Christmas. I don't know. Did a lot of people do it that way, or is that just a weird medicine?
I think most people do it Christmas morning.
Right. Oh, when I was a kid, we actually got to open our grandparents' gifts because they were like socks and vests and shit that nobody wanted. So, yeah, we got the disappointment out of the way then.
So, Camden, if you can only watch one Christmas special or movie
Oh,
for the rest of Christmases, what would you choose?
I
You are
just
on an island. Which one would you choose?
rewatched White Christmas actually for the umpteenth time, but I hadn't seen it in so many years. I actually sort of forgotten like entire sections of it. I was like, oh my god, I forgot this section, because they have these amazing dance sections, and of course Danny Kaye is amazing in it, and the whole cast is amazing. But
you know what's funny? I'm a much bigger fan of what was originally the first movie. It was called Holiday Inn, and it had Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire. And
I'm not familiar with that. Wow.
Oh God, Holiday Inn is a great movie.
I'll have to check it out. Okay.
And White Christmas was literally was created because of the success of Bing's singing White Christmas in the Holiday Inn. It's to this day the most sold record of all time.
Yeah.
And, but that was I don't know if either one of you guys do you guys remember the show Alf back in the 80s?
I think it was I know of it. I don't think I ever watched it because I think it was during a time I didn't have a television. There was a period in my life I didn't have a television for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Smart man.
It's interesting. It's interesting about White Christmas. Interesting fact. Supposedly, when Bing Crosby went into the studio to record that, he did one take and that's it.
Well, he is Bing Crosby.
I mean, he basically said, "I don't think it's going to get any better than that, guys."
Yep.
Wow.
He's the only artist to have surpassed 1 billion in record sales and has outsold Frank Sinatra, the Beatles, and Elvis combined.
Oh my God.
That's
amazing.
Really, really sick when you think of those numbers. But people, his first hits were in the 20s, and he had hits from the 1920s all the way through to the 1970s. So
he had a long. I think we all forget that he did have an incredibly long career. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what made it unbelievable as far as the accolades.
Right.
And it's funny because a lot of people, he doesn't seem to get the due that he deserves as far as being an artist. The reason I brought up,
I'm sorry, I was just going to say, and his work is like his singing is so effortless. It's just, he used to describe it as, I'm not really singing, I'm just speaking these words.
No. Yep. And you know what was also great about him? Back when Nat King Cole first came out, sadly, none of the white singers would have him on their radio shows. And I honestly think is because Nat King Cole was a way better singer than a lot of them. The very first person who would sing with Nat on the radio was Bing. And Nat was probably the only one who could even come, who would be remotely close as far as voice talent as Bing. And he may even be better, but Bing was brave enough to sing with Nat King Cole, which is a pretty amazing thing. Because
that's wonderful.
Nat King Cole was just amazing.
Yeah, I think we all sort of forget because, but unfortunately it wasn't that long ago, the amount of, racism that was happening at that time,
Yeah, I know. I mean, when you really think about like the first interracial kiss was, on Star Trek.
On Star Trek.
1967.
Yeah, and it drove people crazy,
I know. A lot of people believe that it was one of the reasons that a show that was, modestly successful got canceled only after 2 seasons because
it's very possible. Yeah.
It's horrifying that those times, those archaic times, are so recent.
Well,
Sadly,
not that long ago. I mean, I remember in my teens, I remember having an African American friend who was talking about the fact that he couldn't swim. He never learned to swim, and I said, "How could you have never learned to swim?" And he sort of leaned forward and was like, "Camden, do you remember they didn't allow blacks in the swimming pools?" I was like,
wow.
"Oh, that's right."
Mhm.
When I was growing up, when I was a teen, when I was in grade school, and this was not the South,
No,
This
I know.
this is Pennsylvania, which
Yeah.
has some Southern qualities to it, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Where in Pennsylvania did you grow up, Kim?
I grew up outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in a little town
Oh,
called
sweet.
Delmont. If you
Mhm.
go past Monroeville, about
Mhm.
12 miles, it's a little town out there called Delmont.
Sweet. I actually live in Milford, Pennsylvania now, and I would not change that for anything in the world. Pennsylvania is
And that's what
extraordinarily beautiful.
that's eastern Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, it's up in the corner where New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania meet. It's absolutely
Right.
beautiful and fantastic out there. Kevin,
It is
there
a
any-
beautiful state. I'm sorry,
Absolutely.
I'm interrupting you. It's
No
a
worries.
beautiful state.
The Christmas show, because towards the end there's usually like 10 of us on. There's all kinds of interruptions, so please bear with it. I think you've been on a lot of our shows that had a bunch of us on, so you know how.
Yeah.
So Camden, is there anything that you could share with our audience that you have coming up that you want to share with us? Or
Well, it's kind of behind the scenes. I can't remember if I talked about this on one of our earlier shows together. I'm in the MFA program in creative writing at Antioch University.
Oh,
And,
sweet.
I've written a couple of television pilots, and one of them I'm shopping around right now. It's a family drama, but it's about a family of modern day coal miners in West Virginia, and it begins with the death of the mother of the family, and it was on the day of her funeral. The youngest, the daughter in the family, who's also a coal miner, gets stuck in the mine with her crew, and the father, who is the coal mine supervisor, has to rush, against time to rescue them, because the longer you wait, the more chances of people aren't going to survive.
Mm-hmm. You know what? If you don't mind, can I put you in touch with our guest that just checked out, John O'Hurley? He has a production company, gets a lot of shows done together. And I think you guys would work really well together. If you don't mind, I'll see if I can get you guys together on that, because he's looking stuff to produce, and I know that you're a brilliant guy, so your writing has to be equally brilliant. Because
thank you.
Talking to you, you can tell you're a smart guy. Makes me and Joe feel bad because we're moral. Especially Joe. See, I did it right this time.
You did it right.
Yes. Camden, would you mind staying on with us as we pull other people up, or do you need to run?
Yeah, sure. I'll stick around for a little while.
Awesome. Thank you, Camden.
Thank you.
Joe, who do we have in the green room?
We have Mr. Crud.
Without further ado, one of my dearest friends, and just really one of the kindest and most giving human beings. Anybody, Camden, have you ever met Jim?
It's interesting because I know Jim because he was the custodial person at my high school when I was growing up.
Really?
Yeah. He was the custodian at my high school called Youth Learning Center, which was an experimental high school.
Ridiculously cool is that?
That's amazing.
Is that before his George Romero days, I would assume?
Yes, absolutely. This was like 1971, 1972. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the iconic Jim Crut.
Hey.
Jim, did you just hear that story? You worked at the school that Camden went to?
I remember the Youth Learning Center because Bill Royston said, "Hey, you want to teach a class or a couple classes?" And I said, "What? I don't have a teaching certificate. What?" And the Youth Learning Center was an alternative school for high school age students who, I guess they wouldn't maybe fit in with a lot of the other school students in some of the.
Well, it was an open classroom, so it was a very unusual high school at that time. It was actually based a lot on the philosophies that govern Antioch University, which is actually, interestingly enough, the university that I'm attending at this time.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I wasn't a custodian. I just hung out there and acted as a teacher for about 8 weeks or so. I was I was on my way back. I'd gotten out of the Army I'd been down in Oklahoma and Texas, and I kind of liked it in some places like San Antonio. And I was on my way back there from central Pennsylvania, and I thought I'd stop off and see all my Pittsburgh friends before I went south. And they said, did you know that there is going to be an Arab oil boycott, and you may not be able to get any more gasoline for your car if you go to Ohio or any place further than your gas tank will take you? And I said, ooh, that doesn't sound good. I said, well, what am I going to do? Hang out in Pittsburgh here? And they said, hey, now we got a role for you. So then I got involved with the lab theater. And Camden, you had a role that I think I was just coming in about the time you were leaving.
Yeah, I actually was in the very first production that Bill Royston did. It was actually in conjunction with Youth Learning Center at that time. It was a production called Tango by Slavomir Morozic. I don't know if you remember us doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. It's such a small world.
Yeah. I know. It's amazing.
And I stuck around with the Pittsburgh Laboratory Theater, was what it became. And I guess I did that for maybe 2 years until we did the Ironclad Agreement Theater Company. And I went off with them for a few years because we were a traveling repertory company. It was great experience there, though.
Awesome. So, Jim, let me start with something that's super important. How is the family in the Ukraine right now?
You know, there's a lot of depressing news. And just to kind of do a quick refresh for the audience here, I have relatives in Western Ukraine. My daughter was in the Peace Corps for 3 years in Western Ukraine teaching English at Vulgar University. And I'd been to Ukraine in 1978, 2012, and 2018. So I got to see some of the changes from when that area was part of the Soviet Union to progress, independence, to, hey, things are really starting to happen and look pretty good. And then, of course, February, the Russians attacked and things got pretty nasty. And now winter's coming on, and it can be kind of a depressing time if you don't have heat, water, electricity, adequate supplies. So I stay in touch with the family. And this morning early, I got a post on Facebook from one of my cousins. Originally, she had fled to the Czech Republic with 2 of her children. I mean, her husband was of military age and couldn't leave, but she was there for a couple of months and then came back when things were still kind of settled in Western Ukraine. And she did a video of a St. Nicholas Day with children. I don't know if it's a school, a class, but they were singing this song to St. Nicholas. And of course, St. Nicholas looked like, a bishop, which he was, the Bishop of Myra. And the music, and hearing these little kids singing, and they're all going, and now I'm just thinking, this is wonderful. In the midst of everything else, there's this normalcy, and there's this Christmas spirit that is coming out. Of course, St. Nicholas, Santa Claus, but St. Nicholas is a saint. His saint day is December 6th. And so it might have been from a week or 2 ago, but just to see the kids singing, to see the, kind of a normal celebration, it was just so uplifting for me. It was beautiful.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, Pink Floyd did a song for them as well not too long ago. Oh, nobody
What, for Ukraine?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, a few months back, Pink Floyd actually did a song, actually in their language. So
nice.
So do you have any big Christmas plans this
year? Due to a couple of health issues, we're going to be staying home this Christmas. Some families doing some traveling anyway. Like our daughter should be in maybe this Friday before she leaves for India for a month. So we're trying to do a little catching up. Camden, did you know Nick Tallow?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Is he not around anymore?
He just passed away a couple days ago.
Oh my God. What happened?
Some say it might be cancer, lung problems, no specific answer. But unfortunately, he was the floor manager for Mr. Rogers for like 30 years.
I worked at WQED in the film unit as assistant film editor for a number of years, and I knew Nick pretty well actually, and of course partly I knew him through Bill Royston as well because Bill and Nicky were really good friends.
Oh, yeah, close.
But yeah, I last time I saw Nick was there was a convention in Monroeville a good number of years ago, and he was like came up to me and said, "Hey, dude," I was like, "Hey," I hadn't seen him in years, but I totally recognized him. I mean, he was still Nicky, So
he's a unique individual. I do, we would do shows at the same time, and I think my daughter was there once, and he told my wife, he said, "I'm going to marry your daughter so I can call Jim Dad." Some describe it as irreverent, but he was the most spontaneous person, but just so mellow and laid back, it seemed at the same time.
It was an interesting combination. Yeah.
We were at Point Park College, now University in Pittsburgh, together too, and that's where I first met Bill Royston, who formed the Lab Theater. But it's a great loss. He was in Dawn of the Dead. He was in a lot of films, but he was just such a unique character. I just love that man.
Yeah, and he worked with Rogers for years. Good Lord, for a long time. They were very tight, actually. Yeah, he was really tight with him.
When Mr. Rogers passed away, Nicky said, "I cried more for that man than I did when my own father passed away." So you're right. They were very, very close.
Yeah.
He had nothing but total respect for Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Well, I am deeply sorry for his loss because he seemed to have touched a lot of people, especially you two gentlemen who are nothing but class acts.
Yeah.
Mr. Ridgely, do I hear it that pop culture icon and star of what I believe is the best film of 2022, Mr. Brian O'Halloran, is in the green room? Without further ado, Mr. Brian O'Halloran.
Hey.
Hello, Brian.
Hey.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Brian.
We got to get a close up of all that. All right.
Oh, Brian's got it all going on. Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like the hat.
Thank you. You caught me in the middle of decorating the house.
Sorry. So is that Rangers blue or Giants blue?
Rangers, sir.
Okay. Sorry. I know what happened with the Jets today.
So I don't ditch a team even though they sucked today.
Oh my God! Being a Jet fan is literally like putting your fingers in the car door and slamming it over and over and over again every Sunday.
David, you did it once already with the garbage can and ice.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So
let's not do that. But we are the type of fan base that you could probably do open wound surgery without anesthesia, and we wouldn't flinch because it's not as painful as losing as many times as you do.
Now, Brian and I we just got back from Big Apple Comic Con. We were in New York City yesterday, and literally thousands and thousands of people came out. Well, for Brian, not one soul could give a flying fuck that I was there. But Brian, how are you feeling? You were starting to feel a little under the weather at the end of the show last night. Are you feeling a little better today?
No, I am not. I almost lost my voice screaming at the TV.
You sound a little hoarse.
Yes, it's a Shetland pony right now. It's not quite hoarse yet, but soon to be hoarse. So I started putting up our tree and stuff like that. And then David texted me. He's like, "I thought you were coming on," and I was like, "Oh shoot, give me a few minutes. I'll be right there." And because I realized what this show doesn't have is enough older white men on it, I hurried to my computer to make sure the show got their fill of older graying white men. So here we go. Now we're up to 5. How many more can Santa fit in the sack? It's like we're at SantaCon here, and we're all at different stages of Santa, and obviously Camden has won the contest.
And you missed the grand poobah of old white-haired men who started the show, Mr. John O'Hurley.
Sorry.
Well, it's okay. We have like CJ, who's a young buck that's down in the green room whenever we need him.
Yes. So, Brian, we're all kind of just sharing some Christmas thoughts. I wanted to ask you the same question I asked John. If you were on a deserted island and you had one Christmas movie with you that you were going to watch. What? I didn't hear.
I said an island. I said, oh, good, I'm on an island. That means it's warmer.
Yes, it's warmer, and you only have one Christmas movie with you that you watch at Christmas time for the rest of your miserable existence. What are you choosing?
Well, I get to watch it only at Christmas time. It's not like it's going to torture me forever. It's not the last movie I'll only get to see. But if I'm going to watch a movie, Christmas-based, that I'll watch again and again and again, I guess it's going to have to be Die Hard, right? Because that's a Christmas movie.
Yes. Other correct answers are Gremlins and Batman.
No, actually, I'm a big Wonderful Life guy. It's great because there's so many great actors in it, and there's so many quotable moments of it. I know David thinks he's the embodiment of it, and I'm still waiting for him to jump off a bridge. And so that's a movie I love. So I'll say that.
Very kind of you, Brian. Jim, if you were going to make a Christmas movie that you were going to star in, who is your dream co-star and your dream director?
Marina Sirtis.
Oh wow, that's a strange choice. Okay.
And what did we have to do?
You're making
just
a Christmas
we're
movie.
together in a movie. You know, I don't care.
Same question for you, Camden.
Plain blue Christmas. I'll have a blue. Come on, Brian, you got it. Christmas without you. Come on, look.
Christmas without you.
There we go. Come on.
There we go. There we go.
Come on.
Yeah.
Same question for you, Camden.
I'm trying to remember the name of the director's name. The director of Amelie. The film Amelie. Remember, I can't remember his name. It's a.
Okay, who would your co-host? Who would your co-star be?
My co-star. Who would my co-star be? Oh, Sarah Michelle Gellar, of course.
Smart move there, my friend. Smart move.
Yeah.
Brian, who would you?
Jean-Pierre Jeunet was the director of
Thank you.
John
Yes.
Pierre.
Wonderful, amazing director. Amazing.
I don't think I've seen that film.
Oh, you must. Really, I highly recommend it.
Did any of you guys ever see the movie Prancer with Sam Elliott?
What is it?
Prancer?
No.
It's an absolute hidden Christmas gem that you guys should check out. It's just a wonderful, wonderful film. It's so touching and so well written and well
directed. And you said Sam
well.
Elliott was in it?
Yeah, Sam Elliott's the star. He plays Prancer. he plays the father. He plays the father of the daughter who finds Prancer and nurses him back to health in time for Christmas Eve, so that Santa can get
And he didn't eat him?
He didn't eat him. He wanted to if you watched the movie, but no, he didn't eat him. No, that was very good movie.
Wow.
Joe is. I know that some of our cats from the Indie Escape want to pop on. Is anybody in the green?
We actually have a couple of them. Thank you for asking. First, we're going to bring up CJ Robles, who was with us pre-show and actually helped us out a bit at the beginning of the show. Mr.
Yes,
CJ
absolutely.
Robles from My Manic Mondays on the Indie Escape Network.
Hi, CJ. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Hey, how you doing? Merry Christmas. Hello, everybody. How we doing?
Hey, CJ.
What's up, Brian?
Hi.
Didn't mean to, but I just happen to be wearing the
Oh.
Oh,
Jeez, these kids these days, man.
Nice.
Hold on, let me go change. No, I'm kidding.
Wipe that nose. It's a little too brown, my friend.
Right?
Hey,
It's
you
like
can-
the color.
Hey,
it's
hey,
like the
You could
it's like
use
the Hershey Highway I'm staying on here.
Hey, you could lose a little brown on the screen, brother.
Exactly.
So, Brian came in. I was here cracking up. I'm like, wait till I come in. Man, this is great. Thank you, everybody. I like being on here with you. Jim, how's it going? He was on my show. We had a great interview.
It was good to talk to you again. Good to see you again.
Good. I can't wait. I'm gonna have to have Camden on. Every time he's on, it's always been a good show. Every time he's here, it's just pleasant. Like when I saw him pop in, I was like, all right, don't fanboy out. Don't fanboy out. I was like, I'll just stay quiet.
wow.
Surprised you didn't have his
wondering-
shirt.
I was wondering.
Why did? I know.
Sorry.
No, but
So, Joe,
go for it.
Yo.
who else do you have? Do you have somebody
And
else?
we have Daniela, who is the.
Oh, I don't think Daniela's never been on my show before. Hi, Daniela. How are you?
What? I've never been on your show. I thought I was on the one with your daughter.
Was she on my show?
I don't know. I can't remember. I think I maybe just commented a lot, but I can't remember now.
Well, welcome to the end of the night. You're awesome.
Greetings from the Arctic.
And
Literally.
yes, literally from Alaska. You know what?
Yep.
Listen, look, Brian, we have a beautiful woman on the show. You can't complain about nothing but sad, middle-aged, goofy-looking old men.
That's all I was looking for. All right. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. My replacement's here. I'm out. My voice is about to go anyway. Thank you guys for having me on. Enjoy it. We'll see
Thank you, Brian. Merry Christmas. Thank you, pal.
Merry Christmas, Brian.
Merry Christmas.
Scared him away.
Damn it, Daniela. What the hell?
You know what?
I'm like, whoa.
What if I
Beautiful
put my
women.
hair down? Will Brian come back if I put my hair down?
No, beautiful women are actually kryptonite to Brian. He's petrified of them. He's petrified of them.
Interesting.
How are you, Danielle? Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thanks. Merry Christmas to you guys too. It's cold. It actually warmed up today to -10, so I'm feeling pretty good.
And if you guys don't know, Daniela is a published author, and she has a couple of books out there. And yeah, I'm very excited to have you on here.
And also, when I say I warmed up to -10, I'm actually currently up in the Arctic Circle, so that's why I'm making that joke. It was -30 the other day, so it's really warm today at -10.
Sweet. Are you in one of those places in Alaska I'm sorry, Joe. Are you in one of those places in Alaska where it's like 30 days of day and 30 days of night?
Don't bring up that movie.
Oh, I hate that movie. But anyway, actually, yeah, we the sun went down on my last shift at just before Thanksgiving, and it won't come up again until about January 19th.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, we get about 56 days of darkness, but it's not really dark. Like, it's twilight for about 6 hours during the day, and then it gets dark again. And then in the summer, it's total sunlight for about 80 days.
Oh my goodness.
So from about mid-May until mid-August, we have total sunlight. Like, the sun doesn't go down; it just circles the sky.
Now, when you say that your shift, what do you do up there?
I'm an engineer.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I'm an electrical engineer. I have a master's in electrical power systems. So
so like the thing might pop up behind you at any moment.
Yeah, I've been looking for it everywhere, but I still haven't. I've been waiting for it. That's one of my favorite That's one of my favorite movies of all time. In fact,
Oh, not 30 Days of Night, but The Thing.
Not 30 Days of Night, but The Thing is one of my favorite movies. Actually, with the weather warming up, when I say we've warmed up to -10, we're probably going to get a blow, and that's when I always think of that movie.
But see, I was bragging on Facebook earlier that down here in my part of Florida on the East Coast, the Treasure Coast, that it's going to be in the 50s and 40s Christmas Eve and Christmas. And then, of course, Daniela has to chime in and Ray saying, oh, yeah, it was like -10 yesterday. It was 0 today. Okay. It's Florida.
Okay.
Man. We're excited about it, though.
I'm going to tell you what's even colder than Alaska. Being in Hershey, Pennsylvania, in 21 degrees and going on a roller coaster. I literally got off, my balls turned into ice and fell down my pant leg. Completely frozen. Sorry, I guess they want to.
That explains a lot about tonight.
That explains a lot about tonight. Now you know why Brian ran away. Now, either Camden has a roommate or a giant cat just walked by. I'm not sure. It was kind of spooky.
Both.
Okay.
And we have Ken saying, "Wimps live in Canada." I can't think that's worse than Alaska. But
yeah. So I'm going to ask CJ and Daniela this question: what are your guys' favorite Christmas special? I'll go with Daniela first.
My favorite Christmas special of all time is still probably just the Charlie Brown Christmas special.
Oh God, I love that. Every time Linus does his little speech and goes, "Lights, please," it makes me cry every Christmas. For some reason, well, I'm a sad. CJ, what about you?
It's that one. That's the one I would always look forward to. Just the beginning of the kids singing and all the way it starts off. Like I love that show. It's that one definitely. But we do at my house. Home Alone is the go-to movie.
Nowadays. Oh, sweet.
So yeah, we watch a lot of Home Alone.
What about you, Camden? Do you have a favorite Christmas special?
God, what was the special where they had? I think it was a Jonathan Winters had a Christmas special.
Oh, did he? Okay.
One year, yeah, and it begins with him like at the top of the Christmas tree with his head like in the Christmas tree as an ornament. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I don't remember that one. It's funny because I brought up Alf earlier, and Alf actually had one of the best Christmas episodes I ever seen of any sitcom. It's on Roku if you guys want to check it out. The Alf Christmas special. It's one of the most touching Christmas specials I think I ever seen. Jim, do you have a favorite Christmas special?
I always loved A Christmas Story, but
oh yes,
staying with it, it's a wonderful life,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my favorite Christmas special was Mr. Magoo's A Christmas Carol.
Oh,
they don't
that's
show
a
it anymore.
classic. Yeah, that was a classic.
But that one, they had absolutely fantastic music. It was just a really, really great Christmas.
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
You know what I discovered last year, which was kind of cool, on YouTube? They have a lot of the old Christmas specials from Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, the Rat Pack, and all these other variety hour kind of things. And I mean, it's just wholesome fun. And it's just like, they don't make it like that anymore,
Yeah, no, it's literally like the Bing, every year Bing Crosby had an enormous Christmas special. And the year he passed away, he sang with David Bowie.
Oh, wow.
They did that Little Drummer Boy that to this day is just an absolutely mind-boggling combination. Yes, Jim?
May I ask a non-Christmas question of Danielle?
Absolutely. Yes.
It just seems in recent years there have been more paranormal type stories about Alaska, like Alaska Triangle and Alaskan Killer Bigfoot. And I was just wondering, what's the real story?
Not to put you on the spot.
My horror story that I wrote, my two horror stories are actually based on some Atna legends, the Katene, which are the people with tails that are set around Wrangell St. Elias National Park. And then and those were actually from a book called The Upper Headwaters Peoples in the Upper Headwaters people are the Atna peoples, and those are legends. Elder Katie John and others had all these legends that were oral legends that were written down about the people with tails, the hairy man, which is what we would call the Yeti or the Bigfoot. There's the Koleni or Soleni, which are the wild men of the tundra, and those are kind of legends. So there's all these different legends, and so it's hard to say which ones are which because it depends. It varies on who you talk to. So when I researched my various stories, I talked to different people, and depending on where they live, so like people in Dot Lake and Mansfield have never heard of the people with tails, but they believe fervently in the hairy man and the wild men of the tundra. And they believe, and also they believe in, I mean, they really believe in the hairy man. Whereas when you go down to towards Cordova and the southeast, they believe in these little people that are like gremlins. So it's all based on where people live and what oral legends are traditional. So like around Wrangell St. Elias, both on the northern side and the eastern side, that's where you see the men with tails. And on the Canadian side, there's also legends of men with tails or creepy creatures that cut off people's heads. The people with tails cut off people's heads. And so it's like they have in Canada, the Dene people have legends of a headless valley where people just go, like the people go into that valley. It's a very forbidden valley. It's taboo. You go in there, you lose your head. They'll find your body without a head. So it's kind of like what you're talking about, that there's these like triangles and strange places where things happen that can't be accounted for. So when I was doing research for my stories, I started talking to different people, and it depends on, the Athabascans, the different tribes have different variations on the stories depending on where they live.
Well, thank you. That's just fascinating.
You know what's going to happen now, though, right? You just gave James Cameron enough info to have Avatar 3.
There you go. Or a movie about a hungry polar bear.
Well, actually, like the story that I want to write about up here, I want to write something. So what would be the most fearsome animal that you could mix like kind of more of a sci-fi horror story? What would be the most fearsome animal that you can mix DNA with a human?
Moose.
Oh, sweet.
Not moose. Up here, Arctic. Think more Arctic. Once you get above the Brooks Range, we don't have moose.
Oh, the polar bear.
Penguin.
Wrong pole. Polar bear.
Okay.
Hey, I talked to that crazy lady from Life Below Zero. She was attacked by a bear. Yeah, no.
Really? Wrong. Yeah. Did you guys see on the news that like a 2-year-old got eaten by a hippo? How the hell how did she survive that? Like, how do you get eaten by a hippo and then they pull you out?
You've heard the song "Hungry, Hungry Hippo," right?
Oh, I know. She should. She was the one who asked for a hippopotamus for Christmas.
For Christmas. Yes.
You got it. Therefore, what you asked for.
He was setting himself up.
Yeah, hippos are pretty scary. I mean,
yeah, they're nasty animals, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Territorial.
Especially when they eat you. It's gotta suck. With that being said, Camden.
Wait a minute, we got to do. Ray has a dad joke. Ray says, "What does a polar bear get from sitting on ice too long?" Polaroids.
Polaroids. I like it.
That is Ray.
Ray is getting. Santa is not visiting Ray this year.
Wow.
He's getting coal for Christmas. Absolutely getting coal. Nice try, Ray. Thank you and Merry Christmas.
That's Daniela's significant other, by the way.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
You have my deepest condolences. You have to deal with Polaroid bear jokes. With that being said, Camden, where can people find you on social media and follow your work?
Well, I'm easy to find because there's no other Camden toy. So I mean, occasionally you'll find somebody by the name of Camden, but there are no other Camden toys. So you can find me on Twitter and Facebook are probably the two easiest ways to find me.
Yeah, awesome. Camden, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for always getting my back and popping on the show and making.
Thank you.
You're just a lovely human being. Oh, all the filmmakers who watch the show, and I know there are tons and tons of filmmakers. You can't if you get the opportunity to work with Camden Toy, you're doing yourself a favor because super professional, great actor, and just an all-around great guy. And when you're making a movie, the last thing you want is an asshole on set. You know, that's why I'll never hire.
That's the truth.
Oh my God, it's like a nightmare. That's why I'll never hire Joe. With that being said, Merry Christmas, Camden. Happy New Year. Be well. And we hope you stop on many times in 2023.
To talk about your upcoming projects. Yes.
Yep. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Jim.
Good night.
You're the next victim.
Jim,
where can people find you on social media?
Facebook under Jim Krut, Krut. I do have a website, Helizombie, HELIZOMBIE, for appearances and helicopter zombie T-shirts. Not what I'm wearing right now, but I should have thought ahead.
Right, that was a perfectly advertising ploy.
They can find me at conventions and a couple films, things like that.
Awesome. Well, Jim, Merry Christmas, my dear friend. Happy New Year.
Christmas to you guys.
Your family is in my thoughts and prayers at this moment, both at home and in Ukraine. And if you need anything, you know where to find me. And I hope we get to break bread again soon, Jim. Thank you for always being a good guy.
Thank you for making everybody a family.
Thank you, Jim. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
All right, so this is family right here. This is the Indie Escape family. We're like the family that nobody wants, but you're stuck with.
It's only a portion of the family. We got people.
It's only a portion with the family.
JW really wanted to show up. He is a little under the weather, and also Mr. Schiaffo is under the weather, unfortunately. So
what's up with the Scott man? I mean, I'm starting to get worried about him. He's starting to look like the Crypt Keeper. He's getting old and crotchety and beaten up, and we gotta snap him out of this, guys. The family's gotta snap him out of this.
He'll be back to normal soon. I have faith.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last end of the night of 2022. I want to thank everybody who joined us this year. The list of people who joined us was extraordinary. I mean, we had Tom Holland on this year. We had Jonathan Stark on this year. We had Academy Award winner Sally Kirkland on this year. The list goes on and on. We had the legendary John O'Hurley just on. We had Corin Nemec. Brian is on all the time. Scott, it's just really just a wonderful, wonderful place for indies and for legends to kind of meet and share thoughts. And I'm super proud of what we've done with the show. I'm super proud of what Joe did with the Indie Escape Network.
Thank you.
He deserves all the kudos in the world. And this particular show will not be back until sometime in early 2023, probably the first or second week in January. We have some really amazing guests lined up in 2023. I think our first guest will be none other than Billy West from Ren and Stimpy, and one of the greatest voice actors of all time.
Futurama?
So, yes. And a dear friend of Wendy, who does our top 10 list, who will be back in 2023 doing new top 10 lists that I will laugh like a mental patient at because I write them, and Brian will sit there like he's smelling old cheese. So, yes, look for that. CJ, is there anything you want to share before we sign off about Christmas and your upcoming shows and stuff?
Still doing my Mac Mondays. It's always going to be Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Indie Escape Network. That's where you'll find me. So you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. As in for the shows, I got some people lined up coming in the new year. I want to do more. I guess just people I'm have here local with me that I've been working with. A lot of local talent that I feel like just needs to be kind of shown and addressed. I just want to kind of give them a little spotlight. But because also a lot of the stuff I do is with the mental health. And I do want to tell everybody that I do have my Jason David Frank interview is out on YouTube if you want to check it out. I I've been getting some feedback from some fans, and I'm it's really nice to like hear people just talk positive about somebody. So also, I'm always throwing out there for 2022, ending in we're starting 2023. If anybody needs, look up what do you call it? Any thing for My Manic Mondays. Look up. I'm gonna have some shows with some people that are gonna be also like professors and other people like in the field of mental health, just to kind of help, just kind of overall bring it in more movies. I mean, I love the movie part, but now I'm starting to see after this thing, I'm like more mental health. So I'm trying to push a little bit more in 2023. I do have a suggestion though, Joe. We just had Jim Crut on, and that gentleman knows a lot about conspiracies. I'm thinking maybe we get a show with the Jim in May 2023, some conspiracy theories. Yeah.
Ooh, how fun would it be to have him and John Dugan on the same show, bantering back and forth?
You wouldn't do that to poor Jim, would you?
No, I wouldn't. But just so everybody knows, CJ had like one of the very last interviews with the gentleman. I'm drawing a blank on his name, the Green Ranger.
Jason David Frank. Is that the right name?
Yeah.
Yes. One of the very last interviews ever. So please check that out. And CJ, I hope you're going to continue with Crowd the Fund. I think that's a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, that one. I have some friends that reached out, so I'm trying to help them organize, kind of get their online presence a little bit more before we go forward. But I have some friends that are independent filmmakers, and they found us, and they were watching some of our shows, and they kind of came up to me and they're like, how do I do this? What do I help? And I was like, well, let's get organized and we'll figure it out. But I totally was just like, I got Crowd the Fund. We could start doing that more, because as this network, and I'm starting to know more and more as I start to do more of the independent work. Like, we do need each other. Like, we all do need to help each other out. And that's why I always love that David has a show, End of the Night, because it's like, it's a really good resource for people like ourselves or people that are getting started. I'm always pushing it. I'm always advocate. Just come to our network, check it out. You'll see, like, my show it is what it is, but the other shows are just they're there for like any type of resource or any type of. I love hearing the stories. I could literally hear John O'Hurley read a cookbook, and I'd be cool with that.
Yeah. He's just John O'Hurley. Everything about that cat is cool. I mean, I wish I was like 1/100th as cool as that.
And I think people, when they come see that, they're like, oh, they have some people. I think it's just the whole learning. We could help each other out, and that's kind of what I want to push more towards 2023.
What about you, Daniela? Anything you want to share with us about either Christmas or your upcoming shows or just anything in general?
Well, right now we're trying to get our construction schedule lined up so that way I can schedule more shows. I've got guests that I want to schedule. As some of you may know, Ray and I are getting ready to build in Hawaii as part of we've got our place in Chicken where we are out in the summers. And then we're starting construction in early 2023 on the Big Island of Hawaii. Fortunately, we were not affected by the eruption of Mauna Loa. That was quite a bit of ways from where we are in the town of Volcano. These will be part of our future nonprofit that we're putting together called 40 Mile Steam. So within the next week, we're hopefully going to get our construction schedule lined up so I can actually start along with my current work schedule, because I work 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off up here in the Arctic. So 2 weeks I'm home, 2 weeks I'm not. And so that kind of presets my schedule, because, even up here where I'm at, my bandwidth up here isn't good enough for me to be able to do a show while I'm at work. And then coupled with that, like, you never know what's really going to be going on in the plant, because even right now I could get called out. But
wait a second, Daniela. For those that don't know, can you please explain what you and Ray are doing in Hawaii and everywhere?
What we're doing everywhere. Well, in the summers, we have a place in a little town called Chicken, Alaska, which is 400 miles northeast of Anchorage. And so we are putting together a place that's off the grid completely. I mean, when I say it's off the grid, there is no internet, there is no radio, AM, FM access, no cell phone. It's a place that hopefully people could come and create and be completely off grid. Meanwhile, in Hawaii, Meanwhile, in Hawaii, we're going to do hopefully something similar. We're obviously quite a ways out on that. Right now, we're literally just clearing out jungle, and we're applying for our 501(c) exemption with the IRS, so that way we can set ourselves up as a nonprofit. The name of our foundation is 40 Mile STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. So people would be able to, study those things, whether it's come and create art, study, if you're in Hawaii, you'd be able to study the volcanoes, study the biodiversity of the island, etc. And you'd either be donating to our nonprofit, or you would be basically be able to stay there and create science or art. So that's the goal of what we're going to be doing.
Oh, sweet. That sounds terrific. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You're very proud of yourself. That sounds like something awesome.
Yeah. And then, of course, I'm doing my writing, and Ray is doing his artwork. He has his welded sculpture, and I do my my books that I've self-published, and I have a couple of books that I'm looking to get traditionally published.
Oh, sweet. Congratulations. I'll be the first one to buy one.
I'm sorry, say again?
I said I'll be the first one on the list to buy one.
Oh, okay.
Joe, is there anything you need to wrap up before we wrap this baby up?
Yes, again, ladies and gentlemen, if it's your first time tuning in, even if you tuned in a number of times, please check out David Lee Madison's The End of the Night on Facebook. Also, check out the Indie Escape Network on Facebook. What the hell is that? TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and what's the last one?
The Daily News. The Daily News.
Instagram. Daily News.
Instagram.
New York Times. Are we
looks
doing
like
Billy Joel?
Symbol. I don't know what the hell it is.
Okay. But yes, if you could follow all of us on those, it'd be greatly appreciated. And we're going to have a lot of new and exciting things coming up in the new year. And we hope everybody sticks around.
Are you firing me by any chance, Joe?
According to your contract, I'm screwed until like 2,500. I don't know.
Oh, great. Yay. That's only about 2 more million shows to go with the 2 million we've done already.
We got your buddy here that you got to.
I missed it. I'll have to see it and rewatch. Merry Christmas to the Indie Escape. Thank you, Emmett. Emmett had his Haven for Heroes table at the Big Apple Comic Con. He's a great guy. If you are in the Orange County region of New York, make sure you stop in Haven for Heroes in Port Jervis and make fun of Emmett's beard, because that's what I do. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful. Merry Christmas, Ray. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Ray.
He's probably like in the room right next door, isn't he?
No, he's 700 miles away.
Oh, that's what I call a winning marriage. I like that.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's why our marriage works so well.
Congratulations. I mean, I'm in a suite, and they like, if you could see, there's like, if you.
Yeah, every 2
walk over
weeks
here.
he wants to escape from me.
Like right behind this door is like my family, but I have my own suite over here now because I can do my show, and my wife doesn't snore here, and everything's fantastic. It's wonderful. I never got up and walked around in my show before. That's kind of cool. With that being said, I want to thank John O'Hurley for gracing us with his wonderful presence. Brian O'Halloran for gracing us with whatever the hell that was, and
I scared him.
We were scared of him. And Camden Toy and Jim Crott, who are very, very top-notch guys, just stand-up guys. I'm always honored to have them on our Christmas show. And I want to thank you guys for being a part of the Indie Escape family. If it wasn't for you, there would be no network, and people would have to watch this stupid, crappy show. And that would so with that being said, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. I hope all of your dreams come true. Remember to be kind to somebody, because your kindness is what's going to make somebody else's Christmas fantastic. And with that being said, remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.